I finished the court hearing and came home. Rowan Stranger was lounging in my husband's silk robe, sipping from my best bottle of vintage. Chase offered as an introduction. "Honey, this is Derek, my oldest friend. His family just went bust, he'll crash here Rowan couple of days." Derek flashed me Rowan hearty grin. "Hey sis, don't mind me." Chase and I practically shared diapers. His real thoughts oozed underneath. "Great, the Ice Queen is finally back. What Rowan downer? If it weren't for her money, who'd want to look at that frozen face?" I looked at Chase. He guiltily dropped his gaze. "Derek's so down on his luck. She's rolling in cash. What's the big deal about helping? Besides, all she does is work. Derek actually gets me." I gave Rowan small nod, no eruption. I stepped up to Derek and shoved Chase straight into his arms. "Since you understand him so well, he's yours. Take the whole package, the man and every asset tied to his name." Watching their stunned expressions, I smiled. "Oh, I almost forgot. His cars, real estate, and company shares are all listed in the gift clause of the prenup I drafted. I hereby revoke every last item. Don't mind me." Chase and I grew up in the same pair of pants. Derek lifted my '82 Chateau Lafite, acting as if it came with the house. "Same pants? The guy owes me his life. If I hadn't taken Rowan knife for him back then, would he be standing here? So I crash at his place and spend his wife's cash. So what?" My smile never wavered. I looked past him to my nominal husband. Chase wore the matching silk robe, eyes dodging mine. Derek's blunt but soft inside. His family just collapsed, the guy's hurting. Cut him some slack. Anyway, Raina's always working, cold as steel. No warmth compared to Rowan brother. "Ah, so that's how it is." I nodded as if agreeing. Just when they expected me to swallow it for Chase's sake, I moved. I walked up to Derek, reached out, not for the glass, but for Chase's arm and yanked him forward. Chase stumbled, landing against Derek's chest. Red wine splashed across both of them, dripping down the pricey fabric in sticky streaks. "Since you know him so well, he's your gift." Derek steadied the dazed Chase, gaping at me. "Sis, you kidding me? What psycho switch did this chick flip?" Chase finally snapped out of it, brows knitted, voice carrying his usual impatience and Rowan hint of condescension. "Raina, done throwing your tantrum? Derek's my brother. Seriously, just Rowan few nights and Rowan glass of wine. Why the drama? Small-town girls really have no class." I laughed. Who's the one without class? Rowan trophy husband kept afloat by his wife's money, plus Rowan brother, who sponges off him. And Rowan full-grown infant leeching off his buddy's wife while calling her Rowan hag. Rowan gift should be the full set. I raised my phone. On the screen was Rowan message from my legal assistant, handing over the man and every asset in his name. Watching their disbelief slide into absurdity, I added unhurried. "Oh, forgot to mention, the cars, the properties, and his company shares are all covered by the gift clause we signed in the prenup. The agreement states that if I unilaterally decide he's breached marital fidelity, I can revoke those gifts at any time." Color drained from Chase's face, flaming red to paper white. "Raina, what do you mean? Breach of fidelity?" She found out. Impossible, I covered my tracks. Ignoring him, I beamed at Derek. For example, letting his best buddy shack up in our home, wear his pajamas, drink my wine, and privately label me Rowan tiresome hag. Sounds like emotional cheating to me, and I do find it fitting. Therefore, I now revoke every single item. The instant the words landed, my phone lit up. It was my assistant. "Dylan, asset freeze protocols are live." I flipped the screen toward them, savoring the terror erasing the last hint of color from their faces. More satisfying than any verdict I'd ever scored. Oh, one last thing. At the doorway I glanced back at the brothers still clinging to each other. "This penthouse is on the revocation list as well. You have 10 minutes to get out of my property. If not, I'll call the cops and press criminal trespass charges." "Raina, you wouldn't dare." Chase's roar seeped through the heavy oak, quivering with panic. I leaned against the wall, leisurely checking my watch. 10:08. Inside, frantic rummaging mixed with Derek's curses. "Damn, the witch is serious. My cards. My watch, hell, she bought everything. Chase the loser. Can't even keep his woman in line." Chase yanked at the door handle like Rowan madman. "How dare she? Those shares, that villa, she said they were proof of love. She's bluffing." 3, 2, 1. I looked up and speed-dialed building security. "Penthouse 18, illegal intruders, please remove them." Within 5 minutes, 2 uniformed guards escorted Rowan robe-clad Chase, and Derek past me. Chase thrashed, face twisted. "Raina, you viper. You'll regret this." Derek stayed eerily calm, only his viperish glare lingering. "Just wait, bitch. I'm keeping the receipt for this bill." I gave Rowan pleasant wave. Gentlemen, gifts are non-returnable. Do drop by as guests next time. Silence at last. I had the housekeeper sanitize the entire place and trash everything Chase had touched, including the bed we'd shared for 2 years. That night I slept like Rowan Stone. By morning my phone was exploding. All of them pleading texts from Chase. Babe, I was wrong, really wrong. Please forgive me this once. Derek and I are just brothers, you've got it all mixed up. Remember when we first got together? You said you'd love me forever. I didn't answer. I screenshotted every line and zipped the folder to my assistant Leo. Evidence secured. At noon I booked us Rowan table at Rowan New Sushi Bar near the office. Leo earned the treat. Leo was my protege. Young, sharp, easy on the eyes, and refreshingly clean of motive. Dylan's in Rowan rare mood today, can't hide the smile. The sea urchin here's pristine, she'll love it. I really was in high spirits. I'd just lifted Rowan piece of uni when the entrance erupted. Chase and Derek barged in. They had changed, but their clothes looked slept in, scavenged from some dumpster. Chase's eyes were bloodshot, pinned on me, no, on Leo beside me. Raina, I'm ruined, and you're here cozying up to some boy toy? He shouted loud enough to turn every diner's head. Derek followed, head low, lips curled in smug anticipation. Make Rowan scene, bigger the better. Let's see how the star attorney squares her face after this. I set down my chopsticks, dabbed my mouth, even had Rowan's sip of tea. Then I lifted my gaze to the barking stray. First, let's correct the record. My voice carried, calm and clear, across the hush of the restaurant. You're not ruined. You still have the brother who shared your childhood pants, don't you? Second, this gentleman is my colleague. We're having an ordinary working lunch. I paused, gave Leo a reassuring smile. And finally, the key point. I bored my stare back into Chase ice cold. The woman you're harassing is Rowan billionaire. Whereas you, Jamie, are Rowan penniless, frozen out, good-for-nothing, kept man. Who are you calling Rowan kept man? Chase exploded like Rowan cat whose tail had been stepped on, jabbing Rowan finger at my nose. Raina, don't forget, you were the one who cried and begged to marry me. Without me, would you be where you are today? The diners around us smothered giggles. Leo had already risen and placed himself between us. This guy's insane. How did Dylan ever fall for him? I tugged Leo's sleeve, signaling him to sit. Mad dogs don't deserve gentlemen. I lifted my teacup, meeting Chase's furious glare, and gently blew across the steam. I begged you? Chase, did you forget who paid off the $3 million gambling debt when loan sharks were about to break your legs? Chase's face froze. Who was it that knelt outside my penthouse for 3 days and nights when your so-called startup was about to flatline, pleading for capital? His lips started to tremble. And when your parents needed surgery and couldn't scrape together the fees, who called the best hospital and top surgeons without blinking? Asterisk how is she airing all this? This lunatic, asterisk. Chase's mind howled, but his face looked like ash. I set the cup down with Rowan crisp clink. I admit it, I loved you. I thought I'd married the man of my dreams and was willing to give you everything. I dragged you out of the muck, handed you Rowan respectable job, moved you into Rowan mansion, ushered you into high society, turned Rowan penniless country boy into the Quinn people praise. I thought you'd be grateful, that you'd cherish it. I was wrong. I stood, walked straight up to him, eyes fixed on his shifting pear. You have no heart, Chase. You're an ungrateful wolf, Rowan parasite that can't be sated. You spent my money while calling me haggard. You basked in everything I gave yet acted like I was the one climbing. Your pathetic, brittle pride won't let you admit your Rowan waste kept by Rowan woman. So you brought in Derek. I glanced at Derek behind him, his face equally ugly. You let him belittle me in front of you, puff you up, feed your fake alpha ego. One willing to hit, the other willing to be hit. What Rowan touching brotherhood? Every sentence was Rowan's scalpel, sliding into Chase's most tender spots. He shook from head to toe, unable to speak. Now the game is over. I pulled Rowan card from my clutch and flicked it against his cheek. There's 10 grand in there, enough for you and your brother to rent Rowan room and buy yourselves decent clothes. Don't bother me again. Next time you won't simply be escorted out by security. I turned, looping my arm through Leo's. Let's go. As we passed Derek, I heard the venom inside his head. Asterisk bitch refuses kind offers. Fine. Chase the loser can't deliver. I'll handle her myself. Asterisk. I paused, looked back, and gave him Rowan knowing smile. Oh, Derek, right? There's Rowan saying, birds of Rowan feather. You two are made for each other. I walked out without another glance. I knew this was only the beginning. Rowan Bigger Show had just raised its curtain. The next few days, Chase stayed out of sight, but I knew he wouldn't quit. The lull before Rowan's storm often foretells an even wilder battering. My phone received daily filth from unknown numbers. No mystery whose handiwork that was. I had Leo trace every one, locking down evidence. Meanwhile, I began Rowan high-profile courtship with Leo. We toured art exhibits, attended the symphony, checked in at every new must-eat bistro. I even had him drive my scarlet-red Ferrari in slow laps beneath the dilapidated block where Chase and Derek rented, windows down. I knew they crouched upstairs like sewer rats, eyes glued to us. Asterisk that bitch, on purpose. Flaunting my car, screwing my girl. Asterisk Chase's mind seethed with envy. Asterisk hell, that kid's rides Rowan Global Limited Edition. Chase's junk doesn't compare. This Raina's loaded. Enough of Chase's screw-ups. I need Rowan foolproof plan. Asterisk Derek's thoughts were darker, more dangerous. One Friday night, I let Leo drop me at my building and lingered in the car, all affection, before Rowan reluctant goodbye. Sure enough, as soon as I stepped inside, Chase called. His voice was husky, barely leashed madness. Raina, let's talk. I'm waiting at the park where we first met. If you don't come, I'll dump every old photo of us online. Such childish blackmail, almost funny. Fine, I answered cheerfully. I'm on my way. I hung up, but called another number first. Half an hour later, I reached the park. Rowan late autumn wind cut cold. Chase stood beneath the huge plane tree where we once carved our names, shirt thin, soaked hair plastered to his forehead, wretched, shaking, his usual pity act. He brightened when he saw me, rushing over, fragile and repentant. Raina, you came, I knew you still care. He reached for my hand. I stepped back, out of range. Unfazed, he launched into performance. Raina, look at this tree, remember? We carved our names and you said, one life, one pair. I was wrong. Derek poisoned me. I said horrible things. Give me one more chance, please? His eyes glistened, convincing, if I couldn't hear his mind screaming. Asterisk cave in. Quick. Once she takes me back, I'll make her repay today's shame Rowan thousandfold. Asterisk. Still so gullible, this old woman. I watched, ice in my chest, while he poured it on. Just as he thought the act was working, I sighed. You're right, Chase. His eyes flared. We really had beautiful days. My tone carried fatigue, and something like nostalgia he'd never heard. He lunged forward. Raina, you. Asterisk yes. She still loves me, I knew it. Asterisk. I raised my gaze to his face, twisted with excitement, and tapped the lobby access panel. It's cold outside, come in. Let's talk properly. Chase was elated. In the shadows behind, Derek's grin turned wolfish. They mistook it for Rowan victory trumpet. They didn't know I was tolling their funeral bell. The instant Chase bounded across the threshold, two silhouettes leapt from the stairwell blind spot. Police freeze. Cold handcuffs snapped shut around the hand he'd stretched to embrace me. The triumph on Chase's face petrified into shock and terror. He spun toward me, disbelief in his eyes. Outside, wind lifted my hair as I smiled, cold, merciless. Forgot to mention, the first day you harassed me, I filed Rowan restraining order. Your actions tonight qualify as criminal trespass and malicious harassment. Rowan, good talk? Absolutely. With my lawyers in court. With Chase gone, the world went quiet. 15 days jail time for violating the restraining order. No real pain, but the humiliation was exquisite. I could picture him raging behind bars. Derek, the true viper, finally bared his fangs. He stayed away, but started burrowing underground, contacting the kid brother of an old rival I'd once put behind bars, digging for dirt on me. There's no way Raina's spotless. One flaw and I'll destroy her. When Chase the moron's locked up and she's alone, she'll be putty in my hands. All thanks to intel Leo acquired through special channels. I stared at the surveillance photos on my phone. Derek huddled with some man in Rowan Bar, and the cold smile on my lips kept deepening. Dylan, need me to take him out? Leo's voice crackled through the line, edged with Rowan ruthlessness he rarely let show. Anyone who tries to mess with Dylan is courting death. I soothed him with Rowan laugh. No, let him dig. Rowan clean conscience fears no shadow. I'm actually curious what he thinks he'll find. What I'm even more curious about is the look of despair on his face when he realizes he's just an egg smashing into Rowan Rock. To reward my star lieutenant, and to stage an even better show for the rats still cowering in the dark, I swept into the city's most glittering charity gala with Leo on my arm, loud enough for everyone to hear. I'd had Rowan bespoke tux cut for him down to the last millimeter. It made him look taller, sharper, and the moment we stepped onto the carpet, every pair of eyes tracked him. Dylan, your new assistant is ridiculously young and promising, Rowan familiar partner said, swirling his vintage, eyebrows wagging in innuendo. I laced my arm through Leo's and beamed. Absolutely, young, obedient, full of stamina. Not like some antiques who can't perform but still love throwing tantrums. The circle around us caught the jab and answered with good-natured laughter. Leo's ears reddened, but he stood ramrod straight, letting me cling to him like Rowan loyal knight. Standing beside her feels incredible. I could feel the happiness and nervousness radiating from him, and it lifted my mood another notch. The evening's centerpiece was the charity auction. Tonight's target, Rowan sapphire necklace christened the heart of the abyss. Opening bid, 3 million. I lounged in my chair while the auctioneer breathlessly recited the stone's pedigree, waiting until the offers hit 5 before I languidly lifted my paddle. 6 million. The room went stone quiet. Everyone in Riverdale knew that when Raina wanted something, few dared compete. The gavel was already descending when an off-key voice sliced from the back corner. 610. I followed the sound and arched Rowan brow. Rowan waiter in Rowan catering jacket held Rowan's silver tray in one hand and Rowan paddle in the other. That face, twisted by jealousy and spite, who else could it be but Derek? Beside him stood another waiter, head bowed, yet I recognized him instantly. Chase, out early apparently. Seems someone pulled strings. My gaze slid to the man watching the farce with amused interest, my former rival Emery. Perfect. Snakes and rats, all in one pit. This is going to be fun. Sir, are you certain you wish to bid 610,000? Even the auctioneer hesitated, unsure. Derek stretched his neck, eyes blazing at me in challenge. Damn right. Emery said the necklace is his, no matter what. Behind him Emery, brother of the man I'd locked away, lifted his mojito in salute, smirking like he'd already won. Raina, you think you're untouchable? Tonight I'll make you the laughingstock of every marquee name in town. Try fighting me, you're still Rowan babe in the woods. So that's the play. They knew I wanted the heart, slipped in to jack the price, and planned to drop out at the last second. Humiliate me either way. If I bow out, I'm the paper tigress who can't afford Rowan necklace. If I chase, they'll push me to the stratosphere and leave me holding the overpriced bauble. Whatever I choose, I become tonight's punchline. Poisonous, I had to admit. Leo beside me had already half risen, face dark, when I pressed him back down. Scum, I'll have security toss them. Easy, I murmured, shaking my head. Watch the show. I lifted my paddle again, voice calm, slicing through the chatter. 10 million. Gasps rippled across the hall. Rowan leaped from 610 straight to 8 figures. Emery's expression twitched. He hadn't foreseen this move. Derek looked lost, glancing back at Emery for orders. Emery clenched his teeth and flicked Rowan Q. Derek swallowed hard and raised the paddle once more. 1,001 million. His voice cracked mid-sentence. I smiled, exactly what I'd waited for. Instead of bidding again, I stood, walked to the stage, and took the microphone from the stunned auctioneer. Spotlights pinned me in Rowan halo of white. Ladies and gentlemen, I swept my gaze across the crowd, finally resting on Emery and Derek's bewildered faces. I adore the heart of the abyss, and I'm eager to support tonight's charity. But the noble refrain stands, Rowan gentleman doesn't steal another's passion. Since Emery covets the jewel, I'm delighted to yield. Emery's eyes flickered, surprise mixed with gloating. At least she knows when to retreat. However, I let the word hang. I have Rowan's small suggestion. I will donate an additional 10 million, wired straight to the foundation. Applause burst out like cannon fire. My gift comes with one simple condition. I paused, watching Emery's complexion fade to ash. I'd like the money earmarked for Rowan Legal Aid Project. The name. I turned toward the corner where the other fake waiter, Chase, still tried to melt into the shadows. Let's call it the Gold Digger Recovery Center. Rowan beat of silence, then the ballroom exploded in laughter. Every head swiveled to Chase and Derek. Rowan program offering free legal rescue to women bled dry by leeches and parasites, helping them claw back what's theirs and start fresh. My voice rolled through the speakers, crisp, merciless. Emery, how do you like the idea? I beamed at him. His face was the color of liver. He'd just paid 8 figures for Rowan necklace, and in the bargain, bankrolled Rowan $10 million smear campaign that nailed him, Chase, and Derek to the pillar of shame. This wasn't merely losing face. It was death by Rowan 1,000 cuts to the ego. Raina, you bitch. Chase finally snapped, charging like Rowan Madden Bull. His eyes were bloodshot, all trace of the once polished Quinn gone. Leo stepped between us before I could blink. Security swarmed, pinning Chase's arms. Let me go. I'll kill her. He thrashed, spewing curses. Derek and Emery stood frozen, pale as if lightning had struck them twice. They still couldn't grasp how their perfect trap had morphed into Rowan public execution of themselves. I descended the stage and straightened Leo's rumpled tie. "You okay?" He shook his head, worry flickering. "Did he hurt you?" I patted his arm, then faced Chase, still writhing in the guard's grip. "Jamie, it seems 15 days in county didn't teach you the basics of civil conduct. Threatening someone in front of hundreds of witnesses? I'd say your next vacation just got extended." Chase stiffened, fury replaced by fear. I ignored him and turned to Emery. "Emery, long time no see, you're looking radiant." My smile was gentle, my words were ice shards. "I hear you've been digging into my business. Found anything juicy?" Sweat beaded on his forehead. How could she know? Need Rowan hint? I leaned in, voice pitched for his ears alone. "Your Q3 filings seem to have numerical hiccups. And that offshore account you share with your dear brother-in-law." Emery's pupils contracted. He stared as though I'd risen from Rowan grave. "You how? How do I know?" I straightened, angelic. "Because I'm not just Rowan lawyer. I'm the Rowan of your corporate underworld. Tell your brother to enjoy his cell. If either of you twitch the wrong way, I won't hesitate to arrange Rowan family reunion behind bars." Emery stumbled back, terror in his eyes, and bolted for the exit like the building was on fire. Derek tried to slink away in the chaos. "Stop!" He froze, turned with Rowan's sickly grin that looked ready to crack. "Sis, Dylan, this has nothing to do with me. Emery and Chase forced me into it. Damn it, those two losers. I have to clean up their mess myself. Calm her down first, then figure something out. As long as I get dirt on her, the money will roll in." I watched his eyes dart around, the abacus in his brain clicking loud enough to hear. "Is that so?" I walked up, reached out, and straightened the ill-fitting waiter's jacket on his shoulders. "Back at the house you swore you and Chase shared the same crib growing up. At the sushi bar you said I was making Rowan Mountain out of Rowan Molehill. Too gauche for polite society. And Rowan minute ago you looked pretty fierce waving that paddle." My hand slid from his collar down to his chest, then yanked. Rip. The breast pocket tore away, Rowan micro spy cam tucked inside coming with it. I dropped the camera and crushed it under my stiletto. "Thought you'd film me making Rowan fool of myself and cash in with Emery?" I lifted my gaze to his trembling face, my smile frosting over. "You're Rowan Viper dying to sink Rowan Fong in me. Pity you never learned. I love nothing more than hitting Rowan Snake at its weakest point and rooting out every last weed." Back from the gala, I handed Leo new assignment. Compile every thread of tax evasion and illegal fundraising inside the Zhao Group, then tip off the Financial Crimes Unit anonymously. Also send Derek's proof of inciting Chase, plus his joint smear campaign with Emery, straight to Chase's family. Leo's eyes sparked. "One stone, two birds, she's cutting off their escape." "Brilliant." He set off at once. I took Rowan long weekend, arranging flowers, sipping tea, reading. I knew the show would start soon. Sure enough, within 3 days the Zhao conglomerate's shutdown hit the finance pages. Emery and every exec were hauled away for questioning. Meanwhile, pandemonium erupted back in Chase's hometown. After receiving the evidence I'd mailed, his parents and sister stormed the crummy apartment he shared with Derek. I wasn't physically there, but via technical means, I watched the whole thing. "Chase, you worthless punk. You've disgraced the entire Garen line." His mother slapped him the moment she stepped inside. "You had Rowan perfect wife and threw her away for this twisted little freak." His sister lunged at Derek, grabbing fistfuls of hair and ramming his head into the wall. "You home-wrecking snake. You ruined my brother. I'll kill you." Derek howled, spitting curses. "Use your brains." Chase couldn't keep his own woman. "How is that my fault?" Still talking back? Their father snatched Rowan's stool and brought it down on Derek. In the cramped rental it was pure mayhem, Rowan family-wide brawl. Chase stood frozen while his mother clutched his arm, forced to watch his brother pummeled, shame and rage coloring his face. "Enough! Stop it! Derek's in this mess because of me. How can you treat him like dirt?" He defended Derek in his head, but his body never moved. Derek, nose bleeding, glared poisonously through the chaos at Chase sheltering behind kin. "Worthless coward. I must have been blind to take Rowan hit for trash like you. Just wait, Chase, and you hayseed Hicks too. I'll make every last one of you pay." Dog-eat-dog theater at its finest. It ended with Derek bruised and swollen, Chase dragged home by the clan. I closed the surveillance feed and stretched. Phase 1 cleanup done. But it wasn't enough. I want them buried so deep they can never claw back out. As I considered my next move, the doorbell rang. I opened it to Leo, suitcase in hand, equal parts nervous and hopeful. "Dylan, the paparazzi are still downstairs. I was afraid they'd spin stories, so." Can I stay and protect you? I met his clear eyes and the little calculation behind them, then smiled. Come in. I stepped aside. Honestly, living alone gets boring. The instant he crossed the threshold, I caught Rowan's silhouette flit past the fire hose cabinet across the hall. Derek, still here. Like Rowan, wounded mongrel skulking in the dark, waiting for Rowan's shot at revenge. The greed and scheming in his gaze had curdled into pure, annihilating madness. Good. I was afraid you wouldn't show. I've been looking for an excuse to reunite you with Chase. Derek's patience outlasted my guess. Night after night, he lurked around my building, biding time, watching, calculating. And I, just as he wished, handed him the perfect opening. That evening, I deliberately sent Leo out of town on Rowan case. Dylan, you'll be okay alone? Derek, still. Relax, I cut in. He won't dare. After Leo left, I didn't return home. I drove to the office to work late. I knew Derek was tailing me. Sure enough, Rowan battered yellow cab ghosted my rearview mirror all the way. I purposely parked in the loneliest corner of the garage. The tower was deserted at midnight. I stepped out, laptop bag in hand, heels ticking across concrete. Tick-tick. The hollow echo drifted through empty levels and into someone else's ears. I could feel that venomous stare locked on me. The elevator doors slid shut. Watching my reflection, I kept my face blank while counting down in my head. 3, 2, 1, ding. The doors opened onto my floor, corridor black except for the eerie green of an exit sign. The moment I walked out, Rowan reek of cigarettes and cheap beer hit me. Derek leaned against my office door, smoke curling from his lips, crushed cans at his feet. Seeing me, he bared nicotine-stained teeth in Rowan's savage grin. Jordan, finally. You bitch, today you'll learn what crossing me costs. He advanced, wolfish hunger in his eyes. So high and mighty before, why so quiet now? Where's your pretty boy? Not here to save you. Certain I was scared, he laughed louder. I stayed motionless, studying him. What do you want? I asked. Want? He cackled. I want you ruined. He waved Rowan phone at me. Imagine the headlines if I film you now, add Rowan few guys. Tomorrow every paper in town will read. Top attorney desperate for company, office orgy exposed. Ha ha ha. He roared, already tasting my downfall. I sighed. Derek, you know I gave you Rowan chance, right? What? He didn't catch it. Crushing your spy cam at the gala, that was the warning. Too bad you didn't take it. The instant the words left my mouth, blinding flashlight beams exploded from the dark end of the hall. Police freeze. 8 uniformed officers surged out, boxing him in. Derek's grin shattered. He gaped at the cops, then spun to me. You called them? Impossible. When? I tailed her every second. I raised my phone. The screen showed the video call with Leo I'd just ended. Leo's backdropped the city bureau's command monitor. I didn't call anyone. I stepped closer, looking down at his bloodless face. I was simply live streaming. Audience, every detective in the anti-gang task force. Every word you said, every move you made, already solid evidence of intimidation, blackmail, and attempted sexual assault. In the courtroom, I didn't hire Rowan's single lawyer. I was my own best advocate, and the sharpest blade. I stood at the plaintiff's table in Rowan's crisp black suit, calmly listing Derek's crimes. The first day he moved into my house, the night he tried to plant Rowan's spy cam at the gala, the final berserk threats in my office. Eyewitnesses, physical proof, audio clips, surveillance feeds. Every link in the evidence chain was flawless. Derek sat at the defendant's table, the color of old ash. His defense was feeble and full of holes. I just had too much to drink. I was joking with her. It's over, all over. This lunatic woman is Rowan Demon. In the gallery sat someone I never expected, Chase. His family had bailed him out, and he'd raced down from the farm to watch. He probably wanted to see Derek lunge and tear me apart, leaving me disheveled and defeated. Too bad for him. What he saw was Rowan version of me he'd never met. Rowan top-tier strategist who fenced with words and backed her prey into Rowan corner. During recess, I caught the whispers floating from the benches. That's Raina? The legend from Sterling Associates. Yup. Undefeated, net worth past Rowan billion, #1 name partner. God, did those 2 idiots' brains leak out? They picked Rowan fight with her? More than leaked, like lighting Rowan match in Rowan toilet, pure suicide. Each syllable drifted straight into Chase's ears. I could watch his universe crumble inch by inch. He'd always believed I was merely Rowan rich woman with no real backing, someone he could squeeze. He'd enjoyed everything I bought while secretly sneering that I wasn't good enough for him. Only now did he stitch together the real picture from strangers' voices. Rowan woman perched at the apex of the pyramid, someone he'd never bothered to understand. The pride he wore like armor, the superiority he lived on, was ground to powder right there. Number one partner, net worth 10 billion. So, the joke was actually me. Inside he was blank space ringed by endless regret and dread. I simply flicked my gaze over him, then looked away. Just another defeated pawn unworthy of one more second of emotion. At last came the sentencing. Derek's sentences stacked. He drew 5 years. When the bailiff hauled him off, he twisted and pointed at Chase like Rowan madman. Chase, you did this. You worthless loser destroyed me. I took the knife for you. I'm rotting in your place, you goddamn jinx. The finale of the Dogs Eat Dog show had arrived. Under Rowan 100 stares, Chase flushed crimson, fled in chaos, and vanished. Silence returned to the hall. I stepped outside. The sunlight was perfectly timed. Leo waited on the bottom step, one hand holding an umbrella, the other Rowan radiant smile. Dylan, congrats. I knew you'd win. I laughed, took the water he offered, and drank. Let's celebrate. Where to? Let's repaint that attention-seeking red Ferrari in even louder shade. Curtain down on the farce. Chase evaporated from my world. Word is his family locked him on the farm, cut off every outside thread. The tatters of his pride were already trampled in court. His story pretty much ended there. Derek, inside, can't stay out of trouble. His 5 will probably swell. Emery and his big brother are doing family reunion behind bars. The Zhao group is history. Everyone who tried to taunt or wound me paid the toll. My life slid back on track. No, onto Rowan better track. Without the leech gnawing at me, I felt pounds lighter. At work I snapped up several cross-border Rowan giants, my days brimmed. At home Leo became Rowan regular. He brews my morning coffee and sets breakfast before I touch the floor. At midnight he materializes with takeout while I'm still glued to my desk. He never meddles, yet he's always there the instant I need him. Warm, steady light filling corners marriage once dimmed. One night after Rowan 10-hour video conference, I collapsed on the couch. He moved behind me, massaging my temples with perfect pressure. She's exhausted, brows knotted tight. I wish I could shoulder some of it, but I'm still not strong enough. Eyes closed, I felt the heat of his fingertips and the clean ache in his thoughts. I said softly, Leo, you like me, don't you? His hands froze, his pulse stalled. She knows. Was I that obvious? Will she think I'm scheming another chase? How do I explain? I opened my eyes, turned, smoothed the anxious crease between his brows, and brushed my lips over his, quick as Rowan skipping stone. Me too, I whispered. He went statue still, cheeks blazing lobster red. She kissed me. This is real. I'm not dreaming. His dazed innocence cracked me up. Rowan real, spotless soul is downright adorable. Outside, night was gentle. Inside, lights were bright. Rowan knew life had just started. Half Rowan year later. On sapphire Mediterranean water, Rowan white yacht carved through waves. Bikini, shades, I lolled on deck drinking sunlight I'd owed myself. Leo, or rather, Liche now, walked over with Rowan frosted mojito. White swim trunks, sun-polished torso, honey skin shimmering. Sun's perfect, she looks so relaxed. This vacation has to empty her tank. I took the glass, sweet sour ice burst across my tongue. What's on your mind? I asked. He settled beside me, eyes soft. Thinking how we'll attack the AI antitrust case once we're back. I raised Rowan brow. No shop talk on vacation. He chuckled, tucking wind-whipped strands behind my ear. As you wish. The gesture was effortless, our unspoken shorthand already solid. Then the sat phone rang, partner on the line. Raina, emergency. That European chip conglomerate just slapped us with Rowan patent lawsuit. They want you personally. I snapped upright, gaze like cut glass. Send the files to my inbox. I looked at Liche. He was already folding gear. Seems our holiday ends early, he said, half Rowan laugh, eyes sparkling. New challenge, perfect. That's my man. Ambition, skill, hungry to stand shoulder to shoulder instead of hiding behind me. The yacht swung about, charging for shore. Sea wind licked my face, tasting of salt. I leaned against him, watched the seam where sky kisses water, and felt absolute calm. I once thought marriage was Rowan woman's harbor. Later I learned, I am my own only harbor. As for love, it isn't rescue firewood in Rowan blizzard. It's the extra blossom on brocade. Like right now, sun, surf, lover, and the next fight rolling in. Everything is exactly right. I closed my eyes, listening to the steady drum of his heart and the oath he whispered inside. Someday I'll be strong enough to block every storm for her. My grin widened. Fool, I am the storm. But I can't wait to whip up bigger ones, side by side with you. Thanks for listening to today's story. Rate it 1 to 10 if you like. Smash the like and share it with friends. We're looking forward to your comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.